now, we get to into space. We have our space station Giraffe over here, orbiting Kerbal. Everything's looking lovely. Look at the sunrise over here. How do we hide the UI? There we go. Just gorgeous looking over here. I like the mods that add the little cityscapes there. Hey, we got some bits coming in from Telkis. Hey, thank you very much. Telkis, with the KSP, there may be a stream or two that didn't get uploaded properly to YouTube. I'm forever behind and disorganized about those things. I'm trying to get it all sorted out a little bit better, but we haven't had as many live streams lately either, so that's part of it. We have started to build a little bit of a space station, and this is it so far. There was just enough to sort of finish a quest, and it's got it going on over here, and we've got a science lab in place. Although I think we only got a couple of people in here, a pilot and an engineer. We have no scientists here yet, and while we do have enough life support, I think for about 70-ish days, 60-ish days, over here. We've got tons of food and everything like that. It's just that the hab space and whatnot that is currently limiting factor. We are going to want to get some science up in here soon. Yes, we have lots of safety lights to make sure that we are maximum safe. Although I have to say, the yellow really did clash with the sun. If we do something like that, it's looking, you know, kind of cool. And I do like hearing the Kerbals talk in the background. But yeah, let's get the safety lights back on, lest some sort of disaster start to occur. And yeah, we don't have little baby solar panels. We need to get the big, giant, majestic ones and make this look really, really cool. We also have a probe currently going to Eve, I believe. Yeah, we have a probe going to Eve. We have another alarm here for the next transfer window to Duna, which is in about 1.5 years of Kerbal time, because I think a Kerbal year is 400 days. I think. But yeah, we do have a probe on the way to Eve, and what we could do is this. I was leery about fast forwarding some stuff because, of course, we have life support mods going on over here. And if we fast forward to do all the Eve landing stuff, because it's a long trip to get there, then we will run out of various supplies in our space station. The thing is, with the mod I'm running now, which is the USI life support mod, normally I run the TAC life support one. And the TAC life support, if you run out of stuff, they die. But in the USI one, they just cocoon up, basically, and refuse to do any work. But otherwise, they're okay. I look at it as they go into hibernation mode, and they're going to be fine. So in theory, we could go and finish the Eve landing and not worry about this for now. The Eve landing, the Eve probe, will give us a fair amount of science. We may be able to unlock some more cool stuff, which might be fun. 426 Kerbin days in the Kerbin year? Really? I did not know that. Solar panels plus lights equals unlimited power. And it's what, is it 6 hours in a Kerbal day? I feel like that I might have correct in my head, but I don't know. So I don't know. The other thing we could do is we could run some local missions to the moon or to Minmus, and then dock with the station and transfer some science into it, and then get some scientists up here as well. Like we could send a whole other module up here for more life support, more hab space and whatever, but also use it as an excuse to just send some scientists up here to parse the science. Now, there's no reason for us to send the scientists here until we've got science stored in the bay. So, what do we think? Sort of leave it I think either we run some Moon and Minmus missions, and then the hard part of the Moon and Minmus missions is going to be the fact that when we return to Kerbin, we're not going to aerobrake, right? We're not going to just be able to aim at Kerbin and whack into the atmosphere and use that to slow down. Instead, what we're going to have to do is we are going to have to get ourselves in orbit of Kerbin, which means we're going to need a lot of extra Delta V left over. Now, one idea, though, did just come to mind. Imagine our return from the moon. Now I'm kind of getting excited because I got an idea that is going to be slightly more complex but also super cool. Okay, let's say we've got our lunar return pod. Let's say, I don't know, we'll we could probably just use the regular Mark 1 command pod, or what we were doing before is we were using the Mark 2 but just putting one crew member in there for hab space. Anyway, whichever it is, tell you what, let's assume we use this one. And let's say, at the top of this thing, we get some sort of setup such as, we get some sort of decoupler, not that one, that's too big. this one over here. And then what we do is we build a tiny little probe on top. I don't know. I'm just grabbing some stuff at random here. This is not necessarily what we're gonna build. One of you, and where's my regular fuel tanks that I'm looking for? One of you, followed by the science box. This one over here, experiment storage unit. I mean, we'd use smaller sizes, I think, but the idea being we're returning back to Kerbin, and this whole thing is set on a, like, crash course return to Kerbin, okay? It's just going to re-enter the atmosphere because it'll have a heat shield underneath it. But on our way there, what we do is we detach this top bit, okay? Yeah, it's not going to be able to show it to me properly because I've got the route set differently. And then this turns into a tiny little probe that is super light. It stores all the science experiments in it. It's super light, doesn't need a whole lot of fuel to have a lot of delta V, and it goes ahead and does the rendezvous in orbit. I think something like that might be really cool. It makes it a lot more complicated, but that's fine. Crash course to Kerbal. Well, crash course with the atmosphere. I mean, you know, what could possibly go wrong with that? Exactly. So, you know, this sort of idea. I mean, this could be mounted anywhere. This could be mounted beneath this or really anything. Let's start from scratch here. Let's plan a 2-person mission. We will bring a scientist with us so that we can reset our material bay, which isn't something we've been able to do in the past. All right? And if we're going to be mounting stuff onto the top, we will need to put our parachutes on the side. But, like, you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Just make sure you don't send any lunar weresheep to your station. Oh, God. This could be mounted anywhere. I thought this was a family-friendly stream. Oh, BB Tech. You're very naughty. So, we'll use the, I don't know if it'll really matter, but we'll use the stack separator for this. And, like, just a tiny little, yeah, the little spark engine over here. Just a tiny, tiny little something. Little, Oscar fuel tank, if I can see it. There it is. Or you know what? I'm going to start by building the probe, actually. Here. Start by building the probe side of things. That'll make it a little easier for me to double check some things. So once again, we have our extra little probe cores. The Octo 2 is the lightest, which is nice. Now, it doesn't have any reaction wheels. I don't know if the Hex does. It does. So if we just use the Hex as a base and just throw, you know, maybe a tiny little battery on it. If we sort this by size, there we go. And then again, get the Oscar on here. Oh, which we now sort by size, so it'll be over there. And then a little spark engine. This stage, oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys have heard the news, but Kerbal is finally putting in Delta V calculations into the base game. It's going to show up as part of the staging over here, which, I mean, it really is about time that that's a base thing, because it was a required mod to have something that would give you Delta V stats. You couldn't possibly work otherwise. Is this 151? I believe so. I've got it on running on the latest update now. So yeah, it must be 151. For 2 Kerbals, use larger capsule for habitation space. Yeah, and we might do that. We might use the 3-person one and do that, or add some extra module. We'll sort it out. So this, I suppose, would need an antenna. I don't know if it needs a super high range antenna. We'll probably want to set up the maneuver quite far away. Probably, like, I suspect, and honestly, this is too much Delta V, but it's like, it's going to be it's hard to cut down on how much. Oh, so it still needs the science tank. So the idea is, after we're done, all the experiments are going to get grabbed and stored into this thing. And this is also going to need some sort of coupler. Now, one thing, our space station only has the full Clampotron port, which might be a little bit awkward. Oh, we might want to throw some RCS on here. Like, it would look a little bit better if we just used the Clampotron Junior for this. Like, you know, it just seems more size appropriate, but we actually don't have a Clampotron Junior port on our space station. We probably want to go, at some point when we add more stuff to our space station, we probably want to have at least one Junior on there, just to give us the different option for docking. Still, I mean, this is hardly the end of the world. It looks a little bit silly, but it's not going to hurt us. So, that's the smallest RCS tank. It really is that one. But I don't know if I want to mount something on the side. I might want to just have another inline tank. Oops. What key am I looking for? X. So with 3, we are going to be able to control on every axis. It might be a little awkward, but it should be okay. What's our center of mass on this thing? So in a sense, we actually want the RCS to be down here then, to do that.
It's whiskey and chocolate.
We just want a little bit of ability to control our speed. This is not going to be super control-y, but at the same time, it should mostly be okay. Just leave it on the station until you get back. Yeah, you could send up an adapter in the same ship. And that's true. That is true. So, where's my pop-up for whiskey and chocolate? I missed it, so I'll have to get it on the other screen here. I think I will just send it like this. It's going to be okay. Anyway, so we ate a lot of the delta V on this because we added a lot of weight, but this is still tons of delta V for this to change into an orbital path. Worst case scenario, if there's a miscalculation, it'll still be in orbit around Kerbin. It just, for some reason, might not be able to make Rendezvous or something like that. We'll throw on some solar panels as well. And honestly, I think all we'll need is a pair. I don't know, I guess we'll get a trio. We really don't need this. Actually, you know what? Like, we need so little power on this. I think I'll just get a trio of those. Depending on alignment, it might be weird, but we really will not need very much power. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about the antenna. I don't know if the Communitron, like 16 or 16S, can properly reach Kerbin from lunar orbit. Okay, this one's not too bad. It's not that big. There we go. When you extend, you do that. Yeah, that should be fine. It's not too big, not too heavy. Safety light on this? I mean, I guess we have to, right? I think I'm just going to put on one, just to limit the amount of weight. And it's unmanned, so I'm just going to put it here. It's going to be opposite the antenna. One safety light. All right, so I think this is going to be our sort of science return probe. I think it's got everything it needs. A little antenna should work, you think? Thanks, Fleeby. All right, what was the whiskey and chocolate contribution? Oh, it's Ardent Vector. Hey, hey, Quill. I'm Wooly Starry about the DF live stream Saturday. I feel bad about what happened. So Ardent Vector is making a reference here to the fact that he is one of the people in Dwarf Fortress that turned into a weresheep and slaughtered the entire fortress, bringing it to the end. It was an epic video. It was awesome. I think, have I chopped it up yet for the Yub Tubs? Maybe not quite yet. But yeah, that'll definitely be one that you don't want to miss. Let's get there. All right, stack separator on that. That's going to be fine. Okay, next thing we're going to do is build our actual sort of landing thing. So I guess we will go ahead and use the Mark III command pod. So it's a little awkwardly shaped over here, but I think that'll be okay. I mean, it is a little weird, but it's going to be fine. And so the idea being, we're going to send a pilot. We'll send Gregory, because he hasn't gotten any flight experience yet. And Scan P over here, a scientist, to be able to reset experiments. Now, not bringing an engineer is a little scary, because we do have the Dang It mod that can cause things to fail. But, you know, what could possibly go wrong, right? Exactly. So this is going to be the thing that's returning to Kerbin. So we need to make sure to get it a heat shield. Is this the correct size for heat shield for this? It is. And that's basically it. Well, and some parachutes, I guess. Ah, parachutes. Who needs them? Those are the drogues. These are the regular parachutes. And it's basically going to be returning back to Kerbin with nothing. A pair of parachutes should be plenty. I'm going to go ahead and put on a trio because, you know, safety or something. And we'll get some safety lights right under there. There we go. Maximum safety. So this is the only thing that's going to be returning to Kerbin over here is this pod. Like that. Done. Done. Buff, there's going to be an episode I'm going to make live right after this stream. I hadn't realized that the last 4 episodes from various live streams hadn't been scheduled yet. So I noticed that today. So that's going to go live right after this. Okay, so we got that decoupler. Nope, it's the size. It's the 2.5 meter that we're working on right now. Come on, give me. Excellent. So now we need the bit that's going to be responsible for landing on Minmus and everything like that. Or Minmus or the moon, depending on where we go first. How's our hab space? We have 11 days of habitation, which should be sufficient to get to Minmus and back. But I think we'll go to the moon. How do you feel? Oh yeah, we'll probably do something with fairing as well. Possibly over here, because it does look kind of derpy. We need just the smallest fairing, which would be this, and there. No, don't close the fairing. No. There we go. Something like that for takeoff. Okay. Looking very pointy. I guess what we'll do is we'll get a big hex core for our universal storage mod over here. And we'll get our various science experiments that do fit on the hex core. Okay, solar particle collector. I don't think we need that at all, actually. I think we've done all of this. Universal storage magnetometer. Snapped. Okay. Universal storage Gorsat. That's just a high orbit thing. I don't think that really applies. Multispectral imaging only used from orbit. I mean, maybe. I don't actually know if we've done these all from all the different things. I mean, you can check, but... Now, mystery goo. We got the RPWS. Not for use during atmospheric flight or surface deployment. Snapped. So yeah, it's I'm actually wondering if the universal storage isn't the ideal. Well, actually, it probably is because we'll put life support stuff on there. But clearly, we're gonna want, you know, Science Junior setups and things. Now, we could leave some of these on a stage on Minmus, but it can kind of be awkward to design such a thing. Minmus or the moon again. So what I think I'm going to do, actually, Something like that. Now, it is going to be really awkward to land something this tall because it's going to be inclined to tip over. And there's no reason for us to take off with this weight if we're not bringing the science back home. How are we going to do this? The problem is, like, it's not super convenient to do side mounting and things with this science module. Well, okay, here's what we could do. Maybe I'll leave this ring here, because especially we'll put some life support on this. That's going to be fine. We want the fairing for this. No, not that one. This one here. Well, let me get the life support modules on this first. Now, if I recall correctly, the life support UKS modules are for some reason not in here. They're like in a different category somewhere. There you go. Life support bag for the universal storage. Boom. How many life supports are we talking about with that? That would be 11. And for some reason, we've got 22 days of habitation now. I don't know why. Oh, because there's only one crew in there. What? Oh, the crew got reset somewhere along the way. Pilot, scientist. There we go. So now we should be back at 11 of habitation. 5 days of supplies. So we're going to want more of that. We'll want them to attempt to match. There we go. So we got 11 and 11. So something will run out first, but that's okay. So we are going to be leaving the moon with this still attached. That's going to be okay. I believe we might have wedge batteries. I don't know if you can do a multi-search. Oh, universal storage battery. Can I, is it not? Oh, there it is. Just super tiny icon. There we go. So we got all that wedged in, and then we drop that on there. Okay. Below this is going to be our fuel. So what we need is we need the 2.5 meter fuel tanks, which I think are these Rock'em Maxes. No, they're not. Do we have 2.5 meter fuel tanks? It's whiskey and chocolate. It's whiskey and chocolate. Ooh, inflatable float. RCS. Hang on. Can I do 2.5 and fuel? There we go. Okay, yeah, these Rock'em Maxes. So something like that. Safety lights. We got safety lights! Don't worry. We should also name this right away so we can do some periodic saving. We'll call this the Petra Space Program Moon's Angel. Excellent. What was the whiskey and chocolate from? Reload, 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 reload. Oh! Wow! Captain Kermit. I'm hoping that's properly showing up on the stream. Because every time I click over, I don't see it, but I suspect I'm just too late to see it. Captain Kermit, thank you so very much. Holy cow. Hey, Quill, been watching your videos for a couple of years, in particular love all the Civ 6 stuff. Which should be back as soon as we're done the Age of Wonders run, especially for the expansion. They have really helped my gameplay. Enjoy some Water of Life on me. Well, thank you very much, Captain Kermit. That is really, really, really nice. Thank you. I'm gonna wipe this off. I lost it. Hey guys, what's the plan? We are trying to build a more complex moon mission that will get lots and lots and lots of science to connect up to our space station afterwards. We've already visited the moon and Mimas, but there's lots of biomes left, and we're trying to get more bang for a buck out of that. Water of Life, so called because it kills you. Nice. Okay, so this stage, what I'm hoping for is something that is going to be good and happy to land us and take off from the moon. So if we do this, okay, well that's huge surface to thrust ratio. If we look at the moon, our surface to thrust ratio is going to be 16. That's lots of power over there. No worries about that whatsoever. About 1,000 meters per second delta V. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it not 800 delta V that we need to go from orbit to the surface or the surface to orbit on the moon? I mean, the numbers will be identical. Of course, my head's blocking the delta V stats again. I don't have the graph handy, but I feel like something like that might be correct. So what we really want in our 2.5 meter fuel is the slightly larger Rockomax, which of course is more weight to carry, but that's okay. Sounds right. I'm not addicted to oxygen. I can quit anytime. So if we do this, so we're getting there basically. Like this stage here is just about enough to deorbit us and take off again. Of course, this has also got to come back to Kerbin. So really, what we probably want is almost another descent stage, which actually fits in semi-okay, which is what we're planning. Because what we could do is throw in a big decoupler. I've been using a lot of Separatrons. The difference between a decoupler and a Sepratron is the decoupler sort of stays with the bottom stage. So if we do this, and then throw on, say, another Rockomax tank like that, I mean, you know, in real life, this would be super dangerous, but it should be okay. We want to enable the crossfeed, and also make this higher priority. So, pluses? Is that how it works? We'll use the fuel from this first, because now this will give us extra delta V for that. We just need to move this stage down here to get a few extra calcs. So now what we're looking at here with 930 meters per second delta V, to me this says this stage is going to be sufficient to get us from moon orbit onto the surface. And then when we take off, we can leave this behind, which is what I'm looking to do by having our material science bay and stuff on here. It's still like a little bit awkward. Like, how are we going to stick on the material science bay on this? You know? Part of what I'm considering is using like movement and clipping stuff to make things look non-stupid. Right? Like, because you can put it on the bottom, but it's like, wait, what are we doing? I mean, I guess we could still do that, because technically, I think we've got large enough landing gear. What does the landing stabilizer look like? That is fairly sizable. Yeah, but as I say, it's fairly flat. Although, I guess we could put it down here. Oh, but then what does it look like when it's retracted? The alternative is these big landing struts, which are maybe enough. I guess there's enough clearance there that it's likely not gonna go in. Yeah, no, it looks really wonky here, and that's what I don't like. But again, we could make things look less stupid if we accept certain clipping things. For example, we can use the move tool here to take this and just mostly clip it inside. So it's still enough room that we could click on it and do things, which is nice. We can make the landing gear look slightly less stupid by having it look like it's properly attached over here. I mean, we're having the exact same weight. Like, we're not cheating the system in terms of weight. We're just kind of sort of making things look better. Never land that tower without falling over. Well, yeah, I mean, there's different things. Although, what I also want to do is I do want to throw in some reaction wheels here. I don't need to use the big, monstrous ones. So I think what I'm going to do, even though it's going to mean bringing it back to Kerbal, but I guess it's going to save us some money as well, is it the small? No, I was going to say that's like the normal size one, which is going to be great. If we do this and add a big reaction wheel here, that's going to feel pretty comfortable. But yeah, the question is, how is the weight distribution going to be? Because I suspect it's going to be pretty rough. Although, here's the thing. If we squish this thing in there, maybe we can consider going back to the landing stabilizers, which are much, much wider. We might want to go to 4 times symmetry. I don't know why it only did the 1. That was weird. I mean, it's very wide. It doesn't provide a lot of clearance, though. I think I will use these here, although maybe I will go ahead with a quad setup for a little bit more stability. It's still going to be pretty rough, but I think we can do it. Without flipping over? Something like that. One of the advantages in this clipping is we can effectively move the center of weight down a little bit. Right now it's here. The problem is if this drains first, then the center weight will move up. What we could do is actually use the fuel from here first. This will empty, this will not. And then once we've landed, we can transfer the fuel from the bottom up. We'll have to remember to do that before we take off, but that will mean that the bottom will be heavier because there'll be fuel here instead of in the middle. And yeah, we will have to find something very flat. Like, I usually don't land anything this tall, but this is going to be an interesting mission. We're trying to do stupid amounts with one thing here, and that sounds very fun. We do not have a goo canister, so we're gonna want one of those. I'm gonna go and stick it here, and we can also get, where's the little laser thingy? Oh, there's a seismic impact hammer. Actually, maybe I'll put you here and you here, and on the other side we've got laser. Like that. I believe we can do a systems check, because yeah, it extends downwards and lasers downwards. Excellent. We'll throw some ladders on here just to make it slightly easier to do stuff. I don't think we strictly need the ladders, because we're going to be able to jetpack fairly easily. How is it that you... Is it alt-click? No. How do you... keep copying? I guess you can alt-click from there. Be nice to get the spacing even. I need to get rid of the center of mass indicator. There we go. Just make it slightly easier to grab onto something somewhere. Ditto, like, right here, so we can jetpack and hook onto this. Actually, what I'm going to do is move it down here so we can reach it from the ground, probably. Okay, just because we need scientists to be able to reset these things. Okay. I think this is our landing thing. Again, this is so goddamn tall. I'm sure this is fine. You will start retracted. Excellent. Okay. So now we've got to build the trans-lunar injection phase. So we are going to grab a decoupler, size 25. Put you... No. God damn it. Click. Still doing the thing where, like, it sometimes eats a click and nothing happens. There we go. It's probably micro stutters or something in the game. This. And then the poodle. Good space stage. 1400 meter per second delta V. That's a pretty good number for that, I would say. It's a very slow burn, this thing. Doesn't have a whole lot of oomph, but it's going to be okay. It'll get us there. And then... Actually, that's right. We do have the big orange tanks. They just don't look big and orange anymore. Not by default. They are these things here, but you can recolor them. God damn it, give me the big orange tanks. That's what I would like, please and thank you. And you're going to get a big ol' mainsail. Like that. We're at 6,000 meter per second delta V. That's good. Surface level thrust isn't too bad. But we are going to do some asparagusing over here. So, some of that. Another Rockomax tank. Painted orange, obviously, because it's the only acceptable color for that. You could probably get the slightly smaller engines instead of the mainsail. I think, is it the Wolfhound? No, that's terrible in the atmosphere. Maybe the Skiffs. I'm trying to remember what they were. Because the mainsails is 6 tons. They have a ton of thrust. These have quite a bit less. We might need another pair of mainsails in here, because this is really heavy. Click, click. Oh, there's just tons of lag when trying to place this down. Okay, now our surface level thrust is insane. But that's okay. No, god damn it, I was holding Alt. Oh my god. Our thing's too big. Everything's laggy. Computer exploding. There's the Alt click to over here. Oh, no, stay separate. Okay, engines down there. Down there. Down there. Actually, probably these two. We can actually get away with just using the skiffs. Now, I suspect this will be massive amounts of overkill, but massive amounts of overkill are better than just barely not making it. It's only government money. It's only taxes. It's fine. Okay, so these are on the outside, and yeah, they've got the mainsails, and they'll drop off faster. We probably will check to see if we can get re-entry with these things with parachutes. So you're going to asparagus to there, and then you are going to asparagus to there, and recombine the engines. So all the engines go, so tons of surface level thrust right when we take off, because we're going to have all 4 engines on a go. These two, that one. How come that says there's 2 engines in there? Is it just because it's expanded? It says 2. I'm sure it's fine. So the first decoupling is that. Next decoupling is that. That looks good. We're 8,300 meter per second delta V, which again is a little deceptive because it's counting that first stage, which really isn't part of our overall calculations, but seems okay. Second set of ducts connected. Oh, they're not. Thank you. There we go. Doesn't do a ton for the overall delta V, but will certainly make a difference. We need to clearly strut our stuff. We'll go ahead and just use the auto strut over here and over there. And you are going to auto strut to the root. As are you. Excellent. Wonderful. Okay. So that should be fairly nice and sturdy. We are going to want these bad boys. Here and here. They can basically all go at the same time. That should be okay, barring a little bit of lag. Have we forgotten anything? Maybe asparagus in reverse if it doesn't do a ton for your delta V. I don't think so. Nope. We're okay. Any solar panels? You're absolutely right. I did forget about that. So we're going to want solar panels. There's not extra batteries either, but this is a pretty big battery charge. There's solar panels on our little scientific drop-off probe. We may want a big antenna on here too, just to be able to transmit things that can be transmitted for 100%. So probably just this communitron is going to be more than enough to get stuff going. I'll slap it on right here. Safety lights, we've got plenty of safety lights. We've got a trio of safety lights on our module, a return module over here, and we've got that. Let's put some parachutes on our side tanks here, just because the engines are fairly expensive, and I think we should be able to recover them. I don't think stage recovery actually like counts the amount of parachutes to calculate whether return recovery is possible, but it's gonna be fine to do that. So the parachutes here need to be linked with. Oh, I'm dragging the stage. No, grab the parachutes. There's like a little bit of lag between me clicking and it responding to the click, so I've got to make sure it's 100% like noted the click before I start going, otherwise it starts dragging the wrong place. Wait a minute. You go here. There you go. Da, 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 da. That's good. And just some pressure, more than basically nothing. Doesn't really matter what it is. It just got to make sure not to deploy like right away at super high altitudes, because then the parachutes will just get ripped off. Okay, I will adjust that to at least over 0.2. Okay, so that should be all of them because of the symmetry stuff. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. We're never gonna want to transmit any science. Plus, we actually have an antenna in the top module anyway if we do need to do anything. But you're right, I never want to transmit because I always want to store it so that we can send it to the space station. Okay, I think Moon's Angel at 170,000 Kerbal bucks is ready to go. We'll double check our crew, which got reset again.
It's whiskey and
So we're gonna have Gregory fly and Scampy be our scientist so we can reset some experiments. Winglets, I don't think we're gonna need winglets. We should have ludicrous amounts of air control, but just to say, what the heck? Let's get, and we've got some more whiskey and chocolate. Oh, it did show up properly. The Phi High. Let me, the Phi High. Let me go and check on that in one scooch. So yeah, we'll go ahead and throw some winglets on here. But the thing is, all these engines, well, I don't know if these gimbal, but the mainsails, the 3 mainsails gimbal, which is going to give us huge amounts of control authority. And by the time we're just on the center bit, I think we'll be so high that we don't really need the the air type control surfaces won't do much. But double check the staging, I guess. Some of these could be combined, presumably, but I think we're okay. What could possibly go wrong? We should just go. We've got some batteries for the probe. And again, those will be connected to the rest of the ship at first. So I think that's going to be, a-okay. I guess what I could do, I've got the flow control. That's going to be fine. Okay. Someone mentioned you need 14 days of hab for the moon. I don't think so. It's like 3 days there? I think we're fine. What could possibly go wrong? 3-to-1 odds it explodes before it reaches orbit. I mean, this is a crazy ship because we've made our lunar landing phase so ridiculous. Just utterly ridiculous. My money's on Kerbal loses grip and floats away into space. Maybe crashes into the planet. Test the upper fuel tanks, make sure they flow the way we want. Testing. But what I could do is I considered actually turning off the flow again here, because I turned on the flow in this stage. What I can do is turn it off. Oh, we do have to make sure that this decoupling stage is above the engine phase. Oh, which is the case. Good. That should be fine. So we got some science already popping. Which, you know what? I will go and run. We'll have to reset the mystery goo quite quickly. That's okay. There we go. Our laser's deployed over here. So we'll keep you. And we'll run the mystery goo. Now, one thing I don't know is if you collect... Well, we can't really click on it right now anyway. Let's say if you collect the experiments and you've got a scientist on board, does it auto-reset it? Gregory's got an awesome mustache and goatee. Holy cow, Gregory, you're awesome. All right, let's just go. We'll go into surface level mode, surface mode, up and up. That's going to be okay. Lock that in so we're pointing straight up. We could use the Ascent helper, but it's our first flight of the day, so let's go ahead and do it a little more manually. And upper engine stage are going to cook the legs. Maybe. And have their thrust reduced? Is that a thing? EVA report. Maybe not, but we'll take the material study. And keep you there. Okay. We're closing in on 100 meters per second. Our thrust is crazy sauce. That's okay. We'll start pitching over. I think we won't have much of a problem hitting a fairly flat ascent profile over here. EVA. We've done it before. Rip geometric giraffe. We're getting a little bit of wobble back and forth. It may be that we want to turn off some of these other things, but so far so good. We're actually getting you know, we've got so much thrust going on here, we're getting some aerodynamic effects, but we're about to drop 2 of our mainsails right now. So that should make a difference. Oh, I need to keep turning over here. Ha-ha. Okay, get ready for decoupling. And go. Oh, we're getting bumping! Oh, okay. See, I was worried about that because I wasn't actually facing prograde here. That we might get some bumplies. And we did. You should always be facing prograde when you decouple, because that sort of shit can happen. But that's okay. It didn't hurt our spaceship. We'll have one less thing recovering, but that's going to be fine. We are going way too vertical. So we're going to push down a bit more. Since the atmosphere is thinning, we're going to be... Well, it's not that thin. And actually, it wants to sort of turn over a bit on its own. No, we're okay. Just got to make sure that we don't flip over. But yeah, we're ascending very steeply. Because our thrust to weight is crazy sauce here. So I'm going to keep pitching over. Once you get past 30, it's going to be fairly safe to be kind of aggressively outside of prograde range. Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse. Alright, here at 30K at this point. So yeah, we can pitch over a little bit more. Apoapsis is at 50,000. And climbing quickly. The time to Apoapsis isn't actually climbing that fast, which I guess is kind of nice. Well, we don't have quite as ludicrous thrust-to-weight ratio anymore. Okay. We're approaching 40, so we can be even more aggressively outside of our prograde range now. Apoapsis is coming up on 70. Just because I like round numbers, I often target around 100. We can go basically horizontal here. We should be fine with that. And not start flipping over like mad. This is very little air. And our engines are still very powerful gimbling engines. 85K Apoapsis. Coming down to horizontal. There we go, horizontal. And stage. Goodbye. And we're just going to push ourselves up to 100K. It's still going to go up, but it's not going to go up quite as dramatically because we're mostly burning sideways and we're working on circularization. And we do have lots of excess fuel, which is exactly, you know, as anticipated. And that's very nice. All right, still pushing up to 100. The Apoapsis is going up very slowly because a big part of what we're doing at this point is, in fact... Oh, we could have dropped this a while ago. is effectively raising our periapsis more than anything else. Keep experiments. Okay, we are now in space. 100k apoapsis, 1 minute and 50 seconds until we get to prograde, or to apoapsis. What I want to do at this point is face orbital prograde and be ready to circularize. Rotating our ship's going to be kind of slow right now because it's really long and quite heavy. And we don't have like infinite reaction wheels, but I mean, we have appropriate amount of reaction wheels. We need to deploy our solar panels. I thought I had auto deploy of solar panels enabled, but apparently not. Where the hell are they? And there. Oh, one of our solar panels is on our ladder. I'm sure that won't cause us any problems. And just because I can, I'm going to go ahead and deploy the antenna over here. So we do have an antenna available on that forward probe core. Excellent! Okay, 1 minute to apoapsis. Our circularization burn should be fairly easy and short. There's our space station, the giraffes. We'll do a little quick save here. Have a sip of coffee. Which mod is giving them the dapper mustache? I actually have no idea. If you do ! mods, you'll get a link to my Kerbal mods list. So somewhere in there, presumably, there's probably someone in the chat who knows. So if I were to start burning now, we're going to check the time to apoapsis. If I start burning now and apoapsis time goes up, it means it's too early, and it is going up slowly, but it is going up. So we can wait a little bit more. We're not quite facing prograde here. What you want is the time to apoapsis to be going down during your burn, but hopefully not down too fast, because it might mean you started too late. Let's start the burn again there. So it's slowly going down, which means we're mostly okay. And then if it starts to go up again, it means at that point we could probably stop it and do it more. Because ideally you do half your burn exactly before and exactly after the node. I think we wanted to change the Kerbal face. I mean, there are for different styles. There we go, start again. And the time to apoapsis probably will start climbing up again here, and it is, but it's close enough at this point that good enough for government work. And circularization. There you go. I mean, we could keep burning to get fully round, but the important thing is we're now properly orbital, right? We are not going to re-enter the atmosphere of Kerbin, and we can plan our next stage at this point. We've got, you know, barring life support, we've got all the time in the world. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at some of the science stuff over here and see what our situation is. If I tell this to collect all, there you go. Module inoperable. But I think still, if my scientist here, EVAs, and I let go, and then turn on my RCS, and then try to remember how my RCS commands work. We're going to try to avoid the solar panel here. Now, if I remember correctly, there's a weird thing, because it doesn't... I used to think it auto-arranged your view based on your movement. We talked about this last time. I'm pretty sure it used to reorientate your Kerbal based on your facing. Maybe they got rid of it because it was too complicated for some people. You know, it may have been somewhat unintuitive. Of course, at this point, I was used to it, so I kept expecting the Kerbal to face my camera all the time. But I guess they got rid of it. Hold space. Thank you. I thought someone had figured out the solution last time, too. So if you hold the space bar, it resets your Kerbal to your camera view. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to butt up against this thing and see if we can reach restore. There we go. So the science module has been restored and can be used again, or the material bay rather. And we'll do the same thing for the goo container. We'll restore you. Excellent. Okay, so those experiments can be run once more. Try not to hit the solar panel. They're super delicate. Now, where did we leave our door? Is it underneath? Yeah, because that's the least convenient possible place for it to be. And just to make life simpler, I'm going to change over to the ship. I'm going to rotate the ship around. Oh, we can goo again. So actually I will. So we can reset it one more time. There you go. Rotate the ship around. And then swap back over here. Now, where did the goo now? Now it's under there. It's on the opposite side from the door. Because I put things in a very inconvenient place. Okay. We should really have a tether. This is so unsafe. But that's what this Kerbal. Doesn't it look gorgeous, though? I mean, I do have a bunch of mods to improve the visuals a little bit. You're going to collect and then restore this experiment. The message is always, like, super dubious about the collection. It's like, it's not the collecting of the science that makes this you can't use the goo pod. So you can only do the experiment once. Or maybe if you still have an experiment in there, you're allowed to rerun it or something. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and grab and board. Excellent. And while we have a moment, we'll go ahead and collect all the science in there, which should be fine. So the mystery goo container and the material bay are ready to run again. And we actually might have a high orbit run of those as well. Whoever let that Kerbal go out without a tether is getting fired. OSHA intensifies. Such a pretty moment with the Kerbinaut and Earth in background. I know, right? Like, it's a shame that I have so much UI stuff going on. I do like the visual mod that just makes the Kerbal look a lot better. And then there's the one that adds little solar flares and stuff too that just makes these just a lot nicer to look at. Okay, so we're going to the moon now. We have a tiny bit of fuel left in this stage. Not much, but some. What we'll do is we'll combine the next stage together, so it'll decouple and then launch that engine. How come it's not... Okay, it is highlighting the engine just for a second. We can do another multispectral analysis. Cool, okay. Do that. And then collect... Was there a button to auto-store this? No, there's a transmit. I thought there was a button to automatically store the experiment. No, I think I'm thinking of when there was a... when you've got a science module on you. I think that's when it'll do the, you can shunt it over to the science module. Okay, the time warp gets stopped over here, so we're going to be okay. Oh, safety lights, you're right. Thank you. Safety lights are enabled. Okay, where's the moon? The moon is up here. Oh, we got tons of satellites over there, too. I really don't have to worry about range. So, we're going to set a target of the moon. And we are going to be ready to launch at the moon. Tell you what, we'll do the full eyeball mode here. It's going to be fun. Although I say that, I'm a little bit worried because our next stage, while very fuel efficient, is super duper not powerful. The burn might be... We're really going to want to start the burn maybe a little earlier. I don't know, but our first stage is quite powerful. What could possibly go wrong? So we're going to go ahead and warp to here. We're going to do the thing where we just burn prograde when we see the moon rise. And yeah, there's going to be some more of these... Oh, if I just hit collect all. I wonder if that's doing it for me. I feel like there should be a little helper button for that. Anyway. Try again. I think we're going to get interrupted a bunch of times because with that multispectral analysis... How come I can't right-click to warp? The multispectral analysis pops over different biomes. Like that. And collect. Okay. Oh yeah, and you are going to be facing orbital prograde. We'll get that ready. I know, I don't know why the lights don't start auto-rotating. You gotta, like, click them. It's a bug. Someone let squad know. I'm not going to go and click through all the lights, but at least we have one auto-rotating light. That's the important part. Alright, we're facing prograde. Where's the moon? 12 o'clock. There you go, warp to here. And we might get interrupted again, depending on what biomes we pass over. Alright, no bad. Not bad. And we have, like, no inclination. We are very orbital, which feels good. So, I'm just going to quick save. because I'm going to do a little manual time warp, and it's super easy to overshoot. I'm going to zoom out and sort of turn so I can see the moonrise, you know, as soon as possible here. Oh, I think it's there! Oh my, it's just a sliver. It's basically a new moon. That makes sense. Okay, we are go for burn. Ha ha! And go. Alright. So the tricky thing will be, how long does this have to burn to get us to the moon? I mean, it's got 13 and change 100 delta V, and that's 3.5 minutes worth of burn to go through all that. This is not going to be very fast. We could actually turn on the other engines, but I'm sure this will be fine. What's the weird yellow light? It's our safety lights, man. Yellow for safety. I don't remember if you can change the color of these lights. Maybe in the VAB. I don't think these rotating lights can have their colors changed. All right, so what we're looking for is we're waiting for a blue line to basically pop on the moon encounter. This burn being fairly slow might make it slightly less of an optimal encounter than normally, but that'll be all right. And this purple one, this is a mission for us to put a satellite in orbit. It's just showing it this, but we're not doing that mission. I don't think we have a mission. How long has it been streaming on? Yeah, almost exactly 1 hour, and we have about an hour left. We stream from 2 to 4 p.m. on Mondays, on Kerbal MUNDAYS, in this Eastern time, 2 to 4 on Wednesdays, and noon to 4 on Saturdays, is the typical numbers. Do you want to build a spaceship? Good thing life support, etc. will last perfectly for this lower burn. Well, I mean, we're only talking about the difference between like a 30-second burn versus a 1.5 second burn or something like that. The travel time to the moon is going to be the same. The safety lights are rotating for max safety. We do have a rotating safety light. I wonder if I can set an action group to toggle the rotation direction of lights, so that would be a little easier to get them going. We'll see. Yeah, you can see this is a ludicrously long burn to do this. A little weak engine, but a very efficient engine. Imagine how much better the ship would look with light blue or green lights, or gasp, purple. Okay, and we're waiting for this to pop. You can see the approach lines. Okay, wow. We've got a hell of a slingshot being worked on right now if we wanted to keep going this way. But our goal is actually to stop the moon. So now what I like to do is focus the view on my target over here. Yeah, I was going to say, the fact that it's a slingshot, yeah, we overshot a little bit because we'd actually be smacking into the moon, which we clearly, not really our goal. So I'm going to turn retrograde here and just pull back just a scooch. So that instead of smacking into the moon, we're going to be, you know, just a little over its surface. Looks like a landing. Yeah, maybe a little too much of a landing. Okay, now we'd be 11 kilometers over the surface of the moon, which is fairly close. The closer we are, the more fuel efficient our landing will be. With the caveat that if you're too close, like imagine, you know, you're zooming by 1 meter above the surface, that's not going to give you enough time to like slow down and reorient it and whatever. Sometimes I target something like 20k. 11's going to be a bit aggressive, but I'm sure we can do it. You also have to be careful because there are technically, you know, mountains on the moon, or, you know, higher up areas. I think the highest elevation on the moon is what, 4 or 5k, something like that. So that can affect things a little bit, but I think we're good. All right, so I'm gonna do a hard save here before we do big time warps. Always hard save before big time warps, because sometimes you'll get crashes, and also sometimes you'll just time warp for too long, and you know, then you'll be like, oh god, I screwed everything up. The closer you're to the surface, the less time you have to question yourself. You know, Spiru, I like your thinking here. So I'm going to say a warp here. We will get interrupted probably along the way because we might get some high orbital science. So we're going to do another multispectral analysis and then a mystery goo observation. We're going to grab both of those. We are going to stuff them both into the box. And then it means that ScanP over here is going to have to EVA once more. Getting lots of EVA experience. You're going to let go. Turn on this. Come this way. Whee! And down. I really should put the mystery goo container somewhere easier to reach. On the other hand, how fun is this? EVAing is one of those things that like is very tricksy the first time. The commands are like a little rough, and you've got all this momentum, and because you don't actually have a 3D monitor, it can be a little hard to like remind yourself exactly how you're lined up somewhere. So you use WASD to move forward, back, left, and right, and then shift and control to move up and down. But it's not just move up and down, it's thrust in that direction, and you keep going. So you have to like, you have to be delicate, you have to be ready to cancel out these thrusts when you sort of think you're lined up. And then you have to keep doing a lot of this sort of side to side and up and down to really kind of orientate yourself in 3D space. Because again, we don't have any depth perception. And grab. And board. Honestly, everyone talks about like rendezvous and stuff like that, but probably learning the EVA stuff, even though the buttons aren't complicated, but it's just like getting a sense of the motion, that's probably one of the hardest things for beginners. I know, because I've watched beginners try to do EVA stuff. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do another warp. I was going to say, we'll probably still get interrupted. Oh, maybe not. Okay, because we're clearly in high orbit now. No interruptions. EVAs look so unnerving in this game. Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, like, not being untethered and everything like that, like, you could just float away and not be able to come back in. And mastering the art of being able to reconnect to your spaceship as well is a whole other thing. I'm just going to double check that my... Yeah, see, we shifted a little bit. As we EVA and bump into the ship and do things like this, we are slightly nudging the ship. And when you're this far away, a tiny nudge has a big effect. Where our orbit has changed by hundreds of meters just from me EVAing and back, which is kind of amazing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set the time warp up to about 1,000. When we cross the sphere of influence change, it will auto bring us down to times 50. Remember, it's times 50, not times 1. I keep doing this thing where, like, I do this and then I try to run experiments or put in, like, fuel commands and, like, my ship isn't responding. I'm like, why is it? Because we're still time warping. Okay. We are going to go ahead and deploy all of our science. So we're going to go ahead and keep everything. A few more experiments are still going out. Excellent. I'm now going to collect everything into the box. And once again, quick save first, ScanP is going to come out. He's got to reset 2 experiments this time. Try not to hit your solar panel. I've destroyed so many solar panels.
Whiskey and chocolate.
It's Whiskey and Chocolate from Looncall. Hey, Looncall! To celebrate my moving halfway across the country from MN, Minnesota? To New Jersey for work. Well, thank you very much. And please correct me if that's the correct state. As a Connectanian, I don't have all those memorized, especially all the M's. You guys got a lot of M states. All right, we're going to restore the Science Junior. And then the goo should be just underneath here. We're going to do that. MN in Minnesota. Well, congratulations on the moon move. Congratulations on the moon. Hopefully it works out. Boom. Wah. Focusing. Concentrate. All right. Coming around to the door. And descend. And grab. And board. Okay. Nice. We're going to be collecting so much science. And assuming we correctly attach this to our space station and not cause our science container to just burn up in the atmosphere of Kerbin, we're going to get so much science. Could you imagine oh, look how pretty that is. Could you imagine we do all this? Screenshot. And we just, like, lose the science canister after everything? It could happen. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to put ourselves in orbit around the moon. I mean, technically we don't need to enter orbit in a sense, except we're clearly going to have to slow down because we're going way too fast. And at some point during the slow down process, we're going to go from this slingshot to being in orbit. And if we keep slowing down, then at some point we'll, actually intersect the ground. So there's always this in-between phase where we're going in orbit anyway. And it gives you a chance to, like, figure out your landing site, so on and so forth. Because we have landed on the moon before. With well, I guess we landed with a person, too. Although we don't have a flag. Because a flag would show up here, right? I don't know. Anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to plan a maneuver. I'm not necessarily going to just execute the maneuver as is, but what I want to do is I want to get a basic idea of how long of a burn this is going to take. All right, that's not too bad. 38 seconds is a fairly long burn because we have still a weak engine. It's only 261 meters per second, which is nothing, but it's a fairly long burn. So we know we're going to want to start our burn about 19 seconds before the periapsis. We don't actually have to use the maneuver. I just wanted to sort of eyeball an approximate time of when we want to start our maneuver. Move cursor near the top of map screen to choose what appears in it. Oh, that's true. Oh, flag's turned off. That being said, it says 1 over here. I believe the only flag we've planted is on Minmus. But we may still have to go back to Kerbin and go to the Science Center to find out what science we've collected from where. Because I thought we'd done something. Or maybe, is this the one that burned up and died on return? Anyway, so quick save before time warp. We're going to warp to here, although we'll probably get interrupted for science as we enter low orbit, like that. Deploy all. Yeah, well, to collect all would be kind of handy. Will it run it again if there's already something in it, and then let us collect and then take it? I don't know. Oh, it was only a flyby? It was a flyby and we died. Is that it? Could be it. Deploy all. Da. Collect all. A die-by. And yeah, we got tons of satellites here, so our signals are all good. Deploy again. Oh man, there's so much science in here. Got 20 pieces of science already. Part of me is like, let's just transmit it for safety. No, we must analyze it in our space station. If we do, I mean, because the space station gives you so much more science than you would have gotten otherwise. Oh, it was already stored. Oh, I thought there was a duplicate? Yeah, but does that mean it's still full of data? I don't know. Well, that should be okay. What's our time to periapsis? Okay, 4 minutes. Oh, there we go. There's a lot. Yeah, so it's the radioplasma scan we have to go and manually empty out, unfortunately. Keep. But it's okay, because, I mean, we have to do a few things manually here anyway. We'll do another round of collecting. I don't think I'm going to EVA right now, because we're so close to making a maneuver. The radioplasma scan is which one of these experiments? Those are batteries. This one here. Review data. This is the one where we can reset. There we go. Because now we can say deploy all, keep, because they're a different set of experiments than the ones. There we go. That is properly stored now. So I have to reset. Oh, more biomes. I have to reset the physical experiments, but we're going to wait until we're in orbit for that. Because I don't want to miss my window. All right, warp to around here. Time to periapsis. Oh, man. Deploy all except EVA. Keep. We'll be doing an EVA shortly. Although we might miss... That's fine. Okay, EVA. Oh, no, yeah, we did miss the... Oh, might have automatically done it in 2 steps by hitting that button. Okay. All right, 40 seconds and change to get there. EVA report. Collect. Board. There we go. Woohoo! So yeah, we're crossing different biomes and getting different science. Oh, look how lovely this looks too. Screenshot. And So again, at about 19 seconds-ish is where I'm going to want to start the burn. It doesn't need to be 100% precise here. It'll get where we're going. It's just the closer to that target we are, the more efficient our burn will be. Or we can do it from this screen. And go for retrograde burn. There you go. Or at some point, this lunar escape is going to turn into a lunar orbit. Time to periapsis is still dropping. Just a sign that we did not start too early. And there we go. And we're going to want to bring that down as low as we can, because what we're doing is we're killing speed that we need to kill anyway for our landing at this point. We're about to hit the periapsis now. So now we're past it, which is still okay. Again, about half before, half after. If you had like an infinitely powerful engine, then what you would do is you do like your entire delta V change at exactly the periapsis or whatever, but that's not very possible. I'm going to go and stop now. We're not perfectly circular, but I didn't want to drop the periapsis any more than this, just in case, you know, weird things start to happen. So let's go and complete that EVA to reset our science experiments right now. We are awfully close to the surface of the moon. Oh, we can actually do another EVA report over some sort of biome here, over the highlands. Nice. We will keep that experiment. I will then let go. RCS on. We're gonna come over. Oh, look at that. Hold on. What? Okay. I guess that's what happens when you hit F3 accidentally. We still have the Kerbal alarm clock on some of those. I'm not gonna get a very good screenshot then. Why is Kerbal alarm clock showing up on this screen instead of this screen? Let's not worry about it. Where's the goo canister? Oh, it's on the other side. Whee! And down. Down, 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 down. There it is. Oh, it was underneath it. I just couldn't quite see. Try not to smack into the ship too hard. You can kill your Kerbal. Oh! I'm doing the... When I hit the EVA report, it did with my pilot instead of my scientist. So we need to board with the pilot. Although they're good for experience as well. And then EVA with the scientist. Let go. RCS. Whee! We could probably land on the moon here with ourselves. Kerbals are tough, and their jetpacks are fairly potent as well. Put a ship into the orbit of Minmus, EVA to the surface and back. Yeah, and Minmus, I think you can go to orbit with just your backpack. You can't quite do that with the moon, but I think you can slow yourselves down enough that you wouldn't die on impact with the moon. Of course, that's sort of possible on Kerbin as well, because Kerbals are insane. We've done it before, where we've like EVA'd from a ship that was gonna land without a parachute, and then just jetpacked upwards and then bounced on the surface without dying. Kerbals, man. Alright, board. That's why I don't care about safety, is because usually turns out it's actually hard to kill a Kerbal in normal things. It's just that this is far outside of their normal range. Okay, so the physical experiments have been reset. Now we can pick a landing spot. So we're pretty sure we never landed. We may have landed a probe, though. Let's make a quick shit trip over to the Space Center. Bum, 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 bum. It's important to land on the Kerbal's head. That's true. Their head's the toughest. Twisted Minds. There are actually 4 little orange safety lights on the ship, and those are the things casting yellow glow. And they don't. In Kerbal, the shadows don't self-clip on the ship itself, so it goes inside the cockpit and everything. So if we go to the R&D center and we go to the archives, I like chives, archives, and we go to Kerbin, the moon, so we can see our experiments. So surface landed, we've gotten 3 experiments landed at the surface. So they're all midlands. There's not a lot. This is just a probe. There's not a lot, and it's all midlands. So what we want to do is we want to avoid landing in the midlands if we can. Now the problem is we don't. We might actually have something in orbit doing surface scans of the moon. Oh, I missed donations. My bad. Let me get those up. One of these. So this one here in polar orbit is probably doing some scans, which also probably means it can transmit some science. I don't think I have to go to it to see. But yes, oh, that's right. I remember seeing the hi-fi coming in, and then I didn't actually read the message. My bad. Today, my mom asked my little sister which city is the capital of France, and she answered Brussels. And I just had the laugh of the month. Also, greetings from a long-time viewer from Bonn/Germany. Have some kosher and some sauerkraut. Sorry for the bad English. The English is perfect. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is Bonn just across the river from Strasbourg? Or am I thinking of the wrong city? If it is just across the river from Strasbourg in France, then I have been to Bonn. I just can't remember the name of it. So I might be totally wrong. And the Loon Call, yes, came in and said, oh yeah, to celebrate the moving halfway across the country. So I did read that. So I missed the Phi Highs the message before. So my bad about that. Oh my god, look how beautiful this is. So gorgeous. And we've got our safety lights going on again. Although, if we turn off the... I guess I can't turn it off here. No, you can't. The L key doesn't bind to lights. There we go. Just do this. Look how pretty this is. It's not like one of your dream shots. Okay, let's get the lights back on before something terrible happens. So yeah, so I have been doing surface scanning with this thing over here. If we analyze it, I can ship this data back home. I don't think we need to do that for anything I'm doing here, but it's some free science. Oh, you're doing the incomplete science thing. Require complete, we'll get rid of you. Review, transmit. And then if we just fast forward a little. Oh my god, that sound is terrible. Okay, there you go, you sent it. Oh! Okay, we didn't actually have to do any of this, but it feels good to remember to do that. We're going to flip back over here to Moon's Angel. We're going to switch to you. Maybe he means Baden-Baden. Not Baden-Baden, that was a little too far north. Bonn is West Germany's old capital. Oh. Okay, so let me check. Google Maps. It's a tiny little town right across from Strasbourg. And it was awesome because, like, it's one of these things where when you think about, like, if you told someone this, you know, X number of years ago that you did this, it would sound insane. So, Ascent and I were in Strasbourg, France, and we walked across a river. Oh, it's Kehl. K-E-H-L. And maybe I had the B's in my head because, yeah, Baden-Baden wasn't too far away. And we're like, oh, we could take a day trip to Baden-Baden. But we just walked across the Rhine to have lunch in Germany from France. No passport checks, there's no border control or anything. You're just walking down the street. Now all of a sudden you're in Germany and you have lunch there. So it was in Kehl, just across from Strasbourg. And yeah, I think I had B in my head because we talked about the possibility of maybe going to Baden-Baden, but we would have needed to, you know, take a train or a bus or something like that instead of just walking. So it was lovely, and I love I love Strasbourg. We went in, we didn't know what to expect there. It's where my family is from, like 14 generations back, so it hardly matters, but it was like an interesting excuse to make the trip, and we just loved everything about the city. It's like it's half French, half German. Like the street names alternate between French and German. They've got crazy history because they were like they were a city-state, you know, independent for a long time. Great museum, just great. Okay, so we don't want to land in the Midlands. So the problem is I don't know if we've got biome stuff. So is it? We don't have any tooltips on these buttons. Okay, so here's our altimetry map of, okay, celestial body, the moon. So there we go. We're going to get some altimetry information. Now, I don't think, if we switch to, say, biome map mode, yeah, we get nothing. So we need a different scan for that, but that's okay. The altimetry might still give us a hint. So this is part of the ScanSat mod, which is awesome. Adds the ability to put things in orbit around bodies and get some scans. And yeah, you can find out about biomes, you can find out about elevation, you can find out about resources. It's really cool. So we are here and heading eastwards, towards the right. So we're going to pop over here at some point. So I don't know which one of these counts as Midlands versus Highlands. I don't know if there's a way to tell. If I were to come over here and get, like, crew report in space. Now, some of my experiments say things for biomes. Oh, you need to be collected. Well, we could just try to land in a crater. Map type biome. Yeah, no, it's blank. We don't have a biome scanner, so we can't tell what biome we're gonna be over. But there's a nice crater here. The crater will be its own biome. Let's work on landing there. So before we start any of this, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go and kill horizontal speed, and we're gonna try to do this. We probably want to wait until we're a little closer. Since we're so low, it's gonna be not necessarily the most efficient thing, but we're gonna try to kill as much horizontal speed as possible and just land somewhere in the crater. Actually, we have 53 seconds of burn time left on this stage because it is so weak, so we kind of sort of have to start doing it now. Okay, we're gonna have to stop that, and what we'll try to do is wait until here, and then keep going with that. Oh, this is gonna be awkward. We're so low! This is so freaking awkward to do, but we can do it. This decoupler and the next engine burn stage we'll put together over here. Oh, this is gonna... I should have gone to a higher orbit. It would have made it a lot easier not to fail. What is that thing? Is that Kerbin? No, because that would be much bigger. That must be one of our other, must be one of our satellites in orbit over there. You see that? Like, I'm gonna preemptively deploy the landing gear, because it'll be one less button to have to worry about hitting later on. Oh, this is totally fine. Where are the stars? I mean, clearly this is fake because there's no stars. It's just that the moon is so bright that it washes out the stars, unless you look straight up. Kind of realistic. The Kerbal moon landing was faked in a studio on Duna. Bum, 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 bum. All right, we can fast forward a scooch. Okay, so we're still horizontal here. Our goal is to kill our horizontal speed as much as possible. I really want to make sure I'm over the crater. Okay, we'll end up over the crater. So we're gonna go and do this. And you can see our... Actually, we need a different map mode, or different pop-up for this one. Which one is it? Surface info. There it is. So we can see our surface speed here, which is what we're going to try to bring down to 0. Or surface horizontal speed, bring down to 0, which means we won't be going sideways. We'll be able to tell from this arrow. We have 14 seconds of burn left in this stage. 12... 10. Five seconds of burn left. And done. There we go. This has a lot more oomph now. Deploy all except EVA. Collect. What did we burn off? Did I burn off one of the science experiments? I burned off the goo canister. Okay, whoa. All right, steady yourself. You've got RCS for a reason. Come on, you can do it. We burned off the goo canister. Okay, we have very little horizontal speed to burn off. Actually, I've slightly overkilled it here. Now, the other thing we get on this meter is our true altitude, because the normal altitude meter is the altitude above sea level. Okay, done. Now, we're going to go ahead and just turn ourselves to retrograde at this point. Which, retrograde is basically straight up and down, because we've killed all of our horizontal speed. Where are we going to land here? Oh, boy. Okay. So all this surface speed is basically pure vertical at this point. We're doing a lot of wobbling. There you go. I'm keeping the engine slightly on. What the hell? That must be bits we've blown off that is crashing now? I don't know, man. Now, one of the advantages to landing on the sunny side is not only your solar panels work, but you can see your shadow. So we're hoping we're fairly even. Oh, I'm going to lock myself to up over here, because otherwise, if we end up going past 0 speed, our retrograde marker will invert, and that will lead to bad, bad, bad things. So we're accelerating slightly. We've got about 20 seconds to land at this point. There we go, decelerating. Okay, go back to up mode. 7 meters per second. 6. 5 meters per second. Okay, we can go and let that climb up a little and down. This is going to be very smooth. I hope we're on a relatively flat spot. It looks like this place is relatively flat, because it's going to be very important, because we're really, really wonky. But we're going to land so gently. So gently. Alright, you can kill the engine. Whoop, 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 whoop. You can do it! You can do it! Stay up! Stay upright! Stay upright! I probably should have killed the shocks, because what's happening here is the shocks are bouncing us a lot. Oh, dear God! Oh, dear God! Okay. What? What's the strategy here? If I turn them off one by one, can I do it? We do have RCS, actually. We'll turn it on. It might help stabilize the top. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait. Did I thought I hit deploy all except EVA. Holy shit. We did it. We did it. Alright, I'm going to turn off the SAS completely. Please settle. We are settled. Oh my God. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little physics warp, because physics warp will stop our motion as well. And we're still a little bit wobbly. Oh God. Okay. Well, we're gonna collect everything. We're gonna do another save. Everything is fine. We're gonna go and deploy our scientist, who's gonna get an EVA report. Excellent. This is Moon's east far side crater. Yeah, so it's a totally different biome, which is wonderful. We do have a solar panel directly underneath this door, which is not ideal. I'm gonna try to let go RCS. Do this. It's important because you can go into a ragdoll mode. I mean, if we lose a solar panel, it's not the end of the world. All right. We're gonna get... Oh, look how happy she is! This is the greatest! Okay. Oh, we got some bits coming in. Everything is fine. Yeah. Surface sample. 120 science from this. We are gonna go and keep this. We're going to go and move a decent distance. I guess it's letting us EVA report, but it's probably a duplicate from something else. Oh, it's actually not letting me hit the button. That's interesting. All right. Boom. Plant flag. Far East Crater equals rubber. Boing, boing, boing. So we will remember. There we go. All right, now we need to line up for a screenshot here. Something kind of like that. Excellent. Turn off the UI. Oh my god, you can see it wobbling in the background. Never build your ships this tall. It's a very bad idea. Oh, you already had one. Yeah, okay. Keep. So this is just spamming me. That's okay. Whee! Oh, both should be in the pick. You're right. You're right. Hold on. Let's get the pilot out here. Plus, then he'll get the experience of having EVA on the surface. EVA. Collect this EVA report, just in case it is different. Let go, RCS, go to up mode right away so we don't land on this. It can be hard. Sometimes when you let go, you go to instant ragdoll mode, and then you can't do anything. Oh shit. As I say, the worst though is if you go into ragdoll mode on a hill, because then what happens is you can just find yourself rolling down infinitely, and you can eventually die from that. There we go. Now watch the pilot lock the doors with the keys inside. Alright. Let's try to get back in here. So the pilot can just go in directly. She will need to reset the material bay. So we didn't get a goo study from the surface of the moon. But that's okay. We got a lot of the goos, and we're still going to get a lot of science. Lag? That's not a good time to lag. And board. Oh my god. The whole thing started to swivel more. From me grabbing onto it. Oh, this is so precarious. I think the other landing gear would have been a lot better. RCS on. But I gotta come to the bottom of the thing here. Yeah, our goo got blown up. It was directly underneath one of our engines. Alright, we are going to restore... Well, it doesn't matter, actually, because we're leaving this on the surface. Jump. I want to go to the moon just to feel like Superman. And board. And make sure, once again, that all the experiments have been collected. Brings us up to 44 experiments up in this little top bit. So, another hard save. Okay, so the idea was, click, click, the bottom tank over here, we want to move all the fuel into the top tank. This is going to change our center of mass a fair bit. We're going to reset the fuel flow priority. So we still have a bunch of fuel in the bottom tank here. So we're probably going to take off with it. But now the bottom tank will empty before the top tank does. Crossfeed should be enabled. This thing, the fuel from here, because it's fuel priority 40, which is higher than the 30, we should burn the bottom fuel first. And then once that's empty, which actually we'll have to keep this pinned so that we can see it, because it's not in the stage, we can stage and leave this behind, which will leave this and a few experiments behind, therefore lessening our weight. We could probably hop to another biome, but at this point I think we've pressed our luck enough. So we're going to go to surface mode here with a pitch of 90. So this is going to start us off straight up. We're just going to basically, because normally what you want to do when you're leaving from Kerbin, you're going up to leave the air. Your goal to get into orbit is to go sideways. So here what we're going to do is we're going to shoot up enough to like just not smack into any mountains. And then we're going to go sideways right away, because there's no air resistance or anything. We don't have to do this nice curve or anything like that. We just have to shoot up a little bit I mean, ideally, maybe you'd launch, like, diagonally and all these different things, but it's just going to be a lot safer for us to go straight up and then straight east. And that's what we're going to do. So, I think I'm ready to do it. Bounce to the next biome. Okay. And full throttle. Holy shit. Oh, I didn't hit execute. We weren't actually using any SAS or anything. Woohoo! Okay, what's our apoapsis? Let's go up to like 5K. I forgot to hit execute. We weren't actually in SASing. Okay, and then 0 out to go sideways. You know what? Since you're still kind of insane, let's go up a little bit more. Up, 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 up. We're going to give ourselves a little bit more space because I'm a little bit worried about these hills. Because it actually might be 10 kilometers to clear everything. There we go. So now, we're going to go and execute pointing to the east. I'm going to wait for you to settle. Okay, good. Now go to the east. And yeah, we are burning fuel from the bottommost container right now, which is great. Exactly what we're looking for. And as soon as that's done, we're going to drop this and lose a lot of weight. It's great. Just before the holidays, we'll lose a bunch of weight. So our apoapsis is climbing a little bit, but mostly what we're doing here is we're working on our circularization. We're bringing up our periapsis, and bottom tank is empty. Detach. Almost like Apollo style, right? The landing bit stays behind. Yeah, so it is pushing up the apoapsis because we're not actually at the apo right now. And we could wait at this point for a slightly more efficient circularization to get to the apoapsis and then circularize there. Kerbals are not impressed. Like, they're sad they're leaving. Alright, so now we're just going to be going and doing some orbital prograde stuff at this point. That's all we care about. We'll do another quick save. I'm just going to time warp until we're closer to the apoapsis. And then comes the really hard part. The whole thing this mission was designed to do. And we can deploy all, including the EVA. Grab, do this, reboard. Did it actually run all the experiments? Lovely. Okay, what's our time to apoapsis? 20 seconds. It's going to take no time to circularize here. Yeah, see, the time to apoapsis starts to go up really fast. Oh, I'm past the point, but that's okay. Could have been slightly more optimal, but that's all right. And there we go. Periapsis is nice and high. Camera changes view because we are now in orbit. Interesting little trench there. Look at that. Okay, now we go back home to Kerbin. With 1400 meter per second delta V, should be lots. So what we want to do is we want to look down. So we're looking at the North Pole here. Kerbin is here, so we want to effectively decelerate relative to Kerbin. So if we just start our burn somewhere around here, that's going to be fine. We'll just mostly eyeball it. I mean, it's not rocket science. Oh. Deploy all except EVA, and then we'll EVA afterwards. Just because it leads to weirdness. More EVAs, so much science. Reboard. And, can anyone see the spaceship? Oh, there it is. Wow, we are super zoomed out. Collect all. We're up to 50 experiments, you guys. And time warp some more. Come back over here. EVA. Collect. Grab. Onboard. Deploy the rest. Dun dun. And collect all. Quick save some more. Oh my god, so much science! And warp again. Any more biomes? Anyone? Do not EVA during re-entry. You mean, don't EVA during re-entry again. Not that I've ever done that before. Rip giraffe. It was an accident too. Like, I've done it intentionally before. And actually, if you do it intentionally, you can usually time it right that everything works out okay. But when you hit the wrong button and you EVA instead of switching to a camera view, bad things can occur. All right, that's about where I want to be. Again, we're just eyeballing it. Let's go to full burn. And what I'm just going to wait is until we're escaping the moon, and then I'll do another set of maneuvers at that point. There we go. Good. Good enough. Sounds good. Quick save before time warp. And I will warp to here instead of the Sphere of Influence warp, because I think the warp to Sphere of Influence might use Alarm Clock mod, and then it sort of fights you and stuff. I don't expect there'll be another set of experiments, because we've done all the high orbital stuff. He died as he lived, screaming. Alright, we'll just time warp at 1,000 until we leave the Sphere of Influence. Okay, and transfer it. Remember, we're at times 50 speed, so we wouldn't be able to maneuver at this point, and that's okay. All right, we're past the apoapsis, but we're still pretty high. Doing maneuvers is okay. We got 1,200 meters per second delta V left in this bottommost stage, which all we need to do with this stage is re-enter Kerbin's atmosphere. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plan on that. What I could do is detach this top bit first, but I guess what I'll do is I'll use this bottom stage to bring us in approximately the right sort of periapsis for the orbital matchup with the space station, which is at 200k? 150k? I don't know. How much life support do we have? We should have tons. Yeah, we still have 9 days left. I was pretty sure it only takes us about 3 days to get to the moon. It's Minmus that takes, I think, about 7 days. So what we're going to do is we are now going to go into orbital retrograde because we're trying to remove power from our orbit. Let's take a quick look. The giraffe station is at 150k. That's right. Historically, I've often done 200Ks for my space station, but we did 150. So what I'd like to do is bring my periapsis down to 150K here, and then I'm going to detach the satellite. And then what I'm going to do is keep the, finish the deorbit. There we go. 152. It's going to be fine. Things are going to change when we separate and everything like that. That's going to be okay. So we switch back over here. Before I do this, again, I will do another hard save because I'm super paranoid that, because this is so complicated. And I'm going to manually detach this. So we haven't stolen any of your fuel. That's your Oscar. You've got fuel, your spark engine. You've got your RCS tank, which we used. Actually, all the RCS we burned was apparently from the command pod, which is cool. So yeah, I can go ahead and that's the protective shell. Where's the decoupler? Is it this little guy right here? Stack separator. Perfect. Okay. So that one can be nice and asleep right now. He's not going to do anything until he hits his 150 kilometer periapsis. But this is the thing. It's got 56 experiments stored on it. This is the value of our mission. You need your lights on. No, you were on. Okay, you need to be rotating again. Excellent. Okay, you've got a signal connection, everything's strong. We don't have to do anything with you. What we have to do is we have to switch back to this vessel. And this vessel doesn't... Oh, that's a Separatron! I'm like, what? Is there an invisible component? But yeah, okay, no, that's fine. This vessel doesn't actually want to have a periapsis of 152k. It actually wants to have a periapsis that's within the atmosphere of Kerbin. Let's say about 25k. You guys totally didn't see that. We may have run in to our previous component, of course. Okay, that's the wrong autosave here. I wasn't sure if you just held F9, which one it would load. So we want the highest numbered quick save. Which is quick save 26. Presumably. Safety lights failed, I know. I was in the wrong view. Wow, even if I was in the right view, there was no way I could have been able to adjust that. Whoops. I knew it was about to happen. Interestingly enough, we didn't actually destroy the science module doing that. We actually only destroyed the engine, so we could have had someone come out here and pick that up and save the mission. But, okay, let's decouple you again. And so what I'm going to do with this module is turn on, we're going to turn this off, turn on some SAS, and I'm just going to move you slightly out of the way. Oh, I think I have to stage you. There you go. Boom. There you go. Just get you out of the way here so that nothing bad happens to you. Meanwhile, this guy, we still have the little Separatron bit. That's probably not a big deal. But I guess what I'll do is I will do this. And just move you slightly out of the way. I think we can bring in all the experiments. Not that it really matters, because I don't think that physics enabled in terms of, like, disrupting your pathing. Okay, there we go. Now we're not going to run into each other anymore. So now we want to go back to burning retrograde. Everything is fine. You didn't see that. And then we're going to do this and bring our periapsis down to about 25. Because it seems reasonable. Okay. Now, we still have crap tons of fuel in this stage. As always, we over-engineered, which, you know, so we spent a little extra money on it, but we made sure there was going to be no disasters. No disasters have happened whatsoever. Shut up. So, I think at this point, what we can do is basically just wait. So you can see they're in slightly different orbits. I'm going to just drive from the point of view of the manned capsule over here and get more science. Oh yeah, I can't load it from this screen. Okay. I'll grab that, but then I will have to EVA to collect this. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it. We'll get on the next trip. It's gonna be okay. Min-Miss takes less Delta V than the Moon. Yeah, so it takes slightly more Delta V to reach Min-Miss, but barely. It's like such a microscopic difference to reach Min-Miss. But then the big thing is it takes so much less Delta V to land on Min-Miss and take off and escape it and do all those, and enter orbit and all those things, that you need less Delta V to actually do a Min-Miss mission than a Moon mission, which is kind of nice. The only difficulty is it does have 6 degrees of inclination, which can be slightly tricky to do the rendezvous for some people, but really not much of a big deal. So I am going to focus on just landing this. It probably means that the our little experiment pod is going to overshoot the science thing, and we'll just come back and we'll fix it on the next orbit, and that's going to be okay. So we're going to try to do the thing that we do, where we are somewhere between the retrograde and radial here to try to burn off more of our orbital speed while still keeping our periapsis about the same. So if we burn closer to retrograde, it will bring down the periapsis. If we burn closer to radial, it'll bring it up, but in a way that shifts it. We're still draining energy from our orbit. Ooh, that's a little bit awkward there. So the idea is to burn off as much orbital velocity as possible while keeping our periapsis as a nice amount. You don't want to come in too low, because if you do, there's not enough air between you and the ground to slow down. By coming in sideways, there's effectively going to be a lot more air between you and the ground, and therefore, you'll have more time to slow down before you slow down way too fast by hitting the ground. So we got some Delta V, so we may as well use it. So we got about 145, a little bit of a hitch there. Raise it up a little bit more, and there we go. Out of fuel. Which, assuming if we've done everything correctly, is exactly where we want to be. Maybe I will go and grab that science. I didn't want to grab it because I didn't want it to keep prompting me for more and more. I think it's... Is it this one? Which one was it that ran the stuff? Multispectral imaging. Yeah, it's this one over here. We got a second before we hit things. Scan-P, you're going to EVA real quick. Hurry, the atmosphere is coming fast. Whoa! Bit of a reorientation. Okay. Wasn't expecting. So now it is reorienting. I think it does it when I hit the sideways keys. I think it might reorientate. Because I'm definitely not using the space bar. Okay, stop doing that! Please to be stop reorienting. It might have something to do with the fact that we're getting close to a planet and everything's going bonkers. Grab. Board. Excellent. Okay, and you see you run it again, but you're not going to. What you're going to do is you're going to just sit yourself radial here, and we are going to stage. Like that. So we got a heat shield now. Excellent. We're going to turn surface retrograde, which is what's happening here. We're going to monitor our power situation, which is groovy. Surface retrograde means we're pointing our butt into the wind, which is what we want. And let's just do one more little quick save here. Okay. And we have entered the atmosphere. And our electric charge still good. Hopefully we brought enough parachutes. See if we can hit ourselves with our parts again. Well, that's why I tend to do the, I go radial or anti-normal before dropping off a stage. So it's going to be slightly above or slightly below me in orbit, which makes a big difference. All right. All the cool kids EVA during re-entry. They don't stay cool for very long, especially not now. Right, so we're still at ×4 physics warp, but that should be okay. Fuel is good. We are correctly pointing our butt into the wind because we're facing retrograde here, which is lovely. We can keep going with the physics warp. I mean, physics warp is a bad idea. Don't try this at home, but we're trying to save a little bit of time here. Oh, you drop your engines while lit so they whiz out of the way. That's interesting. Well, would they though? When they're lit, wouldn't they just stay pressed against the rest of your module? Can you bounce off the atmosphere? Not bounce, but I mean you can if you know if your speed's too high and you were going in. If you're too, if you didn't go deep enough, you can clip through the atmosphere, but you will eventually go in. I don't think there's an actual bounce. I don't know how likely it is to effectively, truly skip off the atmosphere either in real life. I think people refer to that, but I think it might be more of a you clip through part of the atmosphere, but not enough to slow you down to actually land. So time warp. So everything's looking groovy, really good. We could deploy the parachutes now, but we'll, you know, what the hell? We'll wait a little bit longer, just so we don't have as long as a re-entry. All right, I'll go ahead and deploy them now. Deploy them now. Thank you. Turn this off. No physics warp. We don't have full deployment right now, but that's to be expected. Physics warp some more. Don't do this at home. It's a terrible idea. And at about 1 kilometer above the surface, they will fully deploy. Oh, those G-forces. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We hit around here. Now, I don't know if that's a linear display or not, but I'm thinking we hit like 13 Gs. Oh, that's neck-snapping levels of Gs. We could have used a drogue chute to make it more comfortable, but it's fine. Kerbals are tough. Bouncing is possible when you're going faster than the escape velocity. Yeah, but that's not... Again, it's not a true bounce, right? What happens is, like, you're clipping, you do slow down a little of the atmosphere, but you end up clipping through the atmosphere, and then still go off on an escape velocity. I don't think it's like a skip, like, off the surface of the ocean, although I suppose, in a theory, maybe. Human would have popped, yeah. Their brains would have come out their butts, is what would have happened there. That was so intense. All right. Physics warp, let's go. Landing's going to be perfectly fine now. I guess we could jettison the heat shield, just to drop a tiny bit more weight, so that we land even softer. Yeah, it's going to be under 5 meters per second. Very, very nice. Now, technically, this is when I should stop my stream. However, I'm going to go over a little bit because I want to finish the mission. So I expect another 30 minutes or so to do that. All right, we'll go back to ×1 warp right before landing. Oh, so nice. All right, so we're going to recover Gregory and Scampy, both of which should have a good amount of XP from all their EVAs and everything. I mean, you only get the highest most XP from it. I guess, oh, technically, Gregory could have gotten a bit more XP for planting a flag. If you press F3, it should tell you maximum G's experience. Oh, will it? Some poor guy in the ship, on a boat just got shielded. Okay. And yeah, we brought back a little bit of science because we brought back a ship here, and technically we had one multispectral analysis brought in there. But that's not the important bit. The important thing is... Oh, there we go. We got all our little flags over here, too. I love this mod. This I just love. All these ribbons that people can get. Okay. So now, let's do a hard save. And I really... It's not as much of a problem ever since they switched to a 64-bit executable, but I still have it in my head that whenever you switch vehicles, there's a good chance of a crash if you had mods because of just memory limits and things. So, PSB Moon's Angel. We are going to fly you. Humans can understand 40 Gs for 1 second, if I remember. I mean, it was very, very short. It was probably sub 1 second forces of Gs, but... Okay, so the question is, does this thing work like we want? So we are past our periapsis here. So I probably don't want to do any kind of retrograde burning. What we're going to do is we're going to set the draft as our target. I mean, we could... But I think what we're going to do is we're going to go and time warp to here. So we'll go all the way through our apoapsis and all the way back. Now, our periapsis here is very much in line. So this yellow line is the orbit of the space station. And our periapsis is there, like, is pretty damn close. So we will expect a rendezvous here. And so all we have to do at this point is we're going to burn retrograde. I mean, it actually doesn't matter if we burn retrograde or prograde, but retrograde makes more and more sense. And what we're going to do is we're going to be lowering our apoapsis. But really what we're doing here, and I mean, we want to lower it because at some point we need to match orbit. What we're doing here is we're burning this to the point where we get a rendezvous over here, because it's changing our timing, right? The time it's going to take us to do this whole swoop is going to change as we change the size of this orbit by lowering our apoapsis. So these orange markers, or sometimes the pink markers, this shows the closest approach to our target. So if we go and start burning retrograde, now we're basically at our periapsis. It's good enough. What are we at? 30 seconds away. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to do a slight burn. And actually, there was an encounter. There would have been another encounter. Most likely, all those are fine. I will burn a little bit more so that we've got most of this oomph out of here. So the orange is actually on the next orbit, and the pink one is in 2 orbits. So let's go and do something like this. There we go. So over here, we're going to be 7.5 kilometers away in 2 orbits with this current timing. You know what? Actually, let's go ahead and keep draining some power out of our orbit for now, because we're going to have to get rid of this now anyway. And if we do that now, we'll have slightly less worry later on. In fact, it'll be possible, depending on how things... We might get one on our next orbit, but no. There's our pink. Let's do this. I'm going to call that good enough. And we'll do some fine-tuning afterwards. So we'll do a little quick save. We'll warp to here. Shoop. There we go. And you can see the pink and orange markers now flip, because orange is next orbit. So yeah, okay. We just haven't passed the point. So we are, in fact, meeting on the next orbit, which is what I thought was going to happen. Okay. So we got this. We're going to right-click on this. So for the separation. Now, we'd like to tune it a little bit better here. So I'm going to stay retrograde. I'm just going to do a light burn and see what happens. That brings us further apart. So we'll do a little bit of prograde. To try to bring this number down as much as possible. There'll be a limit to how close we can get it, most likely. We may have to do a little radial or anti-radial to tweak it a little bit more. We want to try to bring this number down as close as possible while we're nice and far away like this, because it takes very little delta V. A tiny change now, big change later. You can see the separation is slowing down. Okay, let's try a little radial or anti-radial. This is effectively going to shift us right and left this way, which is going to change the time that we intersect. Oh, that brings it up, so we want to do negative radial. So what we're doing is burning left, so we're going to encounter it slightly sooner, but it also means we'll get a slightly closer pass. Now, oh, I was going to say, it's going to start going up again. Now, we might have some slight height differences. We've got a descending node over here, so we're on a slightly different inclination. So a little bit of normal or anti-normal may also help us tune that. This isn't necessarily the ideal place to do it. Oh, there we go. A little normal, bring it down a lot. So we were going to be above or below was the biggest thing. I think we were below. And again, okay, separation is starting to increase again, so we don't want to keep messing with that. If we go back to maybe a little prograde, a little retrograde, see what this does for us. Oop, that's bringing it up, but quite quick, which means this is a good direction to make some pretty dramatic changes in. Again, I'm just using 1 tick of shift over here. So very little fuel being burned. Okay, that's being brought to a bit of a pause. We'll cycle through the radial options again. We're just eyeballing it, because, you know, it's not rocket science. We're not wasting too much fuel. We're using hardly any. Alright, 0.8. Probably a little bit normal and anti-normal would bring us there at some point. But there's going to be a limit to how much we can fine-tune from where we are here. Nope. And yeah, we could just use maneuver nodes instead, but I'm trying to show that, like, space travel isn't that hard. Okay, that's about as close as we're going to get just eyeballing it over here. We're going to be 700 meters apart, which is not bad at all. What we're going to want to do is we're going to get as close to this dude as possible. In target mode over here, this is our relative speed difference. What we're going to want to do, effectively, is go into retrograde target mode here. What this is going to do is kill the speed difference between our two... Oh shit, I don't have enough delta V. Well, the relative speed should get... Will it get closer or not? Yeah, we might not actually have enough fuel for this. How did that happen? Guess I detached at the wrong time. Yeah, our target speed's going up. I didn't think we'd be wasting us that much. Out of curiosity, well, because we still need to do a lot of fine-tuning. Alright, let's back up some more. So we'll do the fine-tuning at a better place. We do have the RCS, that's true. We could abuse an aerobrake, but I don't think that would be a good idea. What we could also do that would make a big difference is make sure we did more at the right... Well, no, that's fine. So how much do we have? Yeah, we only have 529 meters per second delta V. I thought we had way more overkill than this. So let's make more of our adjustment at the apoapsis. And actually at the ascending node here. That's another big one. So we're going to warp to the ascending node. So the ascending node is when we cross from underneath its orbit to above its orbit. So if at the ascending node we burn negative normal, that will bring us more in line. And this will be the sweet spot to do that more efficiently. So let's try to do that. So if we look at our, if we right click on this and we start our burn, there we go. We can fix our verticality a lot easier from over here. Now we're further from the node, so I'm not going to keep doing it. So that at least mostly sorts that out. What's our intersection now? 62 kilometers? Wait, what? Yeah, I should have fixed this before I did the first encounter one. And actually, one of the other things to do, you always want to do your normal and anti-normal burns with your orbit as high as possible. Okay, it's giving me way too much info here. I guess because I have a target? There we go. There we go. Bringing down the separation. The relative speed at the time, I think will still be too high. Well, we might have to do a little refueling. Oh, we have a tugboat! Oh, we're going to be fine. We would have been fine before, I just realized. As long as we're close, and we were going to get very close. We were going to be very close in almost in exactly the same orbit. We have a tugboat parked at the ship, or... do we? We did. Does anyone remember if we still have a tugboat parked over there? And then we have the RCS to maybe finish it off. We have a fair amount of monopropellant. Oh yeah, that's going up now. All right. So we still want to do a fine tune when we get around here. We'll actually use a maneuver this time. Not that I think this is not going to solve it, whether we use maneuvers or not along the way. There we go. .2 kilometers apart. The problem with some of these fine-tunes is that they're so small that likely executing the maneuver won't be precise enough. Oh, we're past the node. Yeah, see, it's an 8.9 meter per second fine-tune over here. It's so tiny. Oops, I didn't mean to time warp. Face the node, 6.1 meter per second. And could use MechJeb, I suppose, to execute it. Maneuver node editor, execute next node. There it is. Because it's a little bit better. It can do like less than 1% burns. Much better than a human can. All right. That's that. Separation will still be within the things. Okay, this is going to be okay. What we'll do, we will run out of fuel. So it's not going to be perfect, but we can use the tugboat to meet it up afterwards. So, target mode. And again, what we're going to be doing is burning retrograde relative to our target to kill the relative speed. See, the target speed's going up here because of things. There you go, there's our closest approach there, which is a little wonky. Let's switch to this view. There's our target there. Target retrograde. Oh, nice lag. Oh, shit, I'm in orbital retrograde here. No! Because I was still thinking of the old button when I was using that mode. Ah, poopsicles. That's what I get for mixing up Smartass and the regular one. Okay. So we still have a slight relative motion. Now, tugboat. No nearby objects. Yeah, see, I could have done that a lot better. If I switch to giraffes, do we have a tugboat? But we're basically, I'm in a slightly higher orbit, but otherwise matching. But yeah, not using the right mode there did burn a little extra. So yeah, we have a tugboat over here. Is this thing full of fuel? Basically, yes. Let's see what we can do. So that's you over here. RCS on. Okay, RCS off. Let's go and collect our science module. Set as target. Excellent. So, target mode. Let's make sure we got that correctly. Face the target. Where is it? Over here. And we're currently burning away from it, or moving away from it. That's fine. We can go and give us a little oomph. There you go. So our prograde marker is going towards the target at 10 meters per second. Let's do a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the Smart ASS. Always remember, when you're burning in direction, you're effectively pulling the prograde marker towards where you're facing. So what I'm going to do is go slightly to the side here. And I'm going to burn in this direction just to pull the prograde marker right on top of the direction to the target. This will shift because we're in slightly different orbits, but more or less I'm moving towards this thing. While having 3,500 meter per second delta V in this bad boy. I could probably afford... Well, let's be patient. Let's do a quick save. Let's time warp. So my tugboat is going to try to meet my target over here. This is why we have the tugboat, for exactly this sort of thing. So again, SAS on. I'm just going to reorientate slightly. Pull the prograde. We are increasing our speed towards it right now. So the next time I do this, I'm actually going to want to do it in retrograde on that side. On a retrograde, you push the retrograde marker with your maneuvers. So I'm going to want to keep the yellow on top of the pink, but I'm now pushing the yellow towards the pink. And again, this shifts just because we're technically in slightly different orbits right now. So 1 kilometer, not bad. Okay. And I'm going to want to start definitely slowing down. Actually, just go target retrograde here. We're going to bring the speed down a fair bit. I'm just 1 notch a shift right now. Because I still want to approach it. I just don't want to approach it quite this fast. Nice little lag. It's always helpful for precision maneuvers. Okay, now what I want to do is come over here. Nope, turn this off. Turn SAS on. And I'm going to push the retrograde marker onto the pink marker there. Because I'm still generally slowing down. But I don't actually want to just, like, burn, like, to slow down. What I'm doing is trying to push it. So while these two are on top of each other, we're still moving towards each other, generally speaking. So we're moving towards each other at 4 meters per second and change. Now this is gonna be super fine and easy. Not worried at all. Because we still have the RCS and the other thing too. This is fine. And fun. So let's fast forward just a scooch. Bring us in closer. So we can see what we're doing. We're going to be getting ready to kill our relative speed. So we're just going to park next to each other, which also means we're going to be in the same orbit at that point. And then we can see what the hell we're doing. Okay, bring us down to basically 0. Excellent. Turn that off. Quick save while I switch vehicles. There we go. So what I want to do is set as target, and I want to face towards the target. Excellent. So now this is pointing towards these guys, and then I'm going to flip back over here. We might be slightly too close, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. Set as target. I want to now also from here face this target. Excellent. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my RCS. And so we are now facing each other, so our docking ports are locked on. I'm just going to go and scoot ourselves forward, which will allow us to merge up. There you go, 0.5 meters per second, that's good. And magnetic clamps should lock in here. Thump. Excellent! Now you can see our delta V's gone negative because they can get a little confused as to what point of view, like what direction is the forward direction. So first of all, I'm going to make sure to explicitly shut down that engine, so that engine does not burn, because weird things could happen. And I want to say control from here. There you go. So now our delta V is positive, because otherwise it would get mixed up between prograde and retrograde. But now we're controlling with this engine only, and that's what we want. Now, we need to find the space station, which is right over there. I don't think I can set a target from this mode, though. So there's the space station, set as target. And I mean, we could do things to improve our rendezvous, but at this point, well, we're fairly far apart. But I think I can probably just do a direct burn. Actually, no, we'll just tune our thing to try to get an encounter a little bit better over there. Again, so what's our ascending node? We are currently perfectly level, which is nice. We're gonna add a maneuver over here, and we're gonna try to get the orange markers. Maybe we could do the pink. The thing is, pink is 2 encounters away, which gives us, like, in theory, might allow for smaller tuning maneuvers to meet up. There might not be an actual, like... Yeah, that's not too bad. So this is a 38.9 meter per second burn, and gets us really close together in 2 orbits, which isn't too shabby. We'll just go and tune it. Using the mouse wheel to tune helps a lot, too. 0.4. Looks like 0.4 might be about as close as I can get with the 40 meter per second burn. And I'll just go ahead and tell MechJeb to execute it for me, because it'll just set up the time warp and do anything. Smartass too easy. We didn't do anything. Smartass didn't do anything for us there. All we did is the buttons I hit in Smartass was just setting ourselves target prograde. I'll show you. I won't use Smartass for the next one. Because pointing at the target, you just make sure your nav ball is in target mode, and then in your SAS setting, if you hit prograde, you face the target. That's all it is. So I'll make sure this is off so I don't forget and hit the wrong button, which is sort of screwed us a little bit last time. But that should be okay. So we'll warp to here. Whee! So it's ahead of us, but we've got the shorter orbit here because we're lower. Gotta be careful in this not to accidentally go and hit atmosphere, because then everything goes bad. Alright. Easy peasy. So, switch out of the map mode. So just to showcase if you don't use Smartass, but they're some of the Smartass buttons can't really be duplicated with the SAS and whatnot, but what we're doing here can be. So we're 18 kilometers apart. We're in target map mode. It's very important. Not orbit, not surface, target map mode. So our prograde shows us the movement relative to the target, and the pink markers also show the target. So right now, we're literally moving directly towards the target right now at a speed of 150 meters per second, because the prograde is basically on the pink marker. What I'm going to do is I will go and move over to the retrograde side, because I'm going to want to slow down as we get closer. And as part of that, my fine-tune adjustments, so I just toggle the SAS, so I'm just in stability assist here. I'm going to want to keep pushing the prograde marker onto the pink to make sure we keep going directly to it, because this will change a little bit just because of relative orbital stuff. So we'll fast forward a little bit here. We're 6 kilometers apart, 5, 4. So we're getting a little drift. So what I'm going to do, and this is mostly slowing us down, but also shoving the retrograde marker onto the pink marker. And lag. There we go. So we're centered up again. So I'm once again moving directly towards the target, but only at 100 meters per second now, because I'm mostly slowing us down with the retrograde burn. A little quick save here. Whoop! Whoa! 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 Time warping. My finger slipped. Instead of doing like time warp for a second and then stopping, I time warped and then I time warped faster. Always quick save before you time warp. All the time. Because of that. It could have been recovered, but it would just cost us more fuel than I would have wanted. Okay. Target map mode. Let's just quickly apply the brakes. Whoa! Whoa, Nelly! Whoa, Nelly! So we're still going to overshoot, but that's okay. Woo! Done. Okay. Okay, so still a waste of fuel, but it's not so bad. So we're 125 meters apart, and we're basically parked at this point. Done. So, once again, what we're going to do is we're going to flick over. So this is our space station here, which does have the ability to turn. So, if I can see... Well, I might have to get a little closer, because I can't see the docking port. Although, what I'll do is I will just turn the space station to be somewhat butt-face. Oh, wait, we have docking ports on both sides, right? So yeah, it doesn't matter. So there we go. There's a docking port vaguely in the direction over here. We'll do another adjustment later on. So I'm going to switch back over here. Can I click on that? No, I think we have to be closer. No problem. So, one of the downsides when you're not using Smartass is that at some point the prograde doesn't let you go if it's too close together, which is sort of weird and annoying, but that's okay. We'll give it a little speed boost like this. So the prograde marker starts coming this way. So we're getting closer and closer. There we go. And now I'm going to turn myself retrograde and be ready to stop again. Whoop. Which I'm doing manually. Just want to get closer, and then we can face ourselves properly here. Can I see the target? I can see it, but it won't let me click on it. Maybe within 100 meters? Which won't help if I hit the brakes now. We're still moving towards, but not by much. And it could just be in RCS mode at this point, too. Because here you use your IJKL to sort of burn a little sideways to keep the marker where you're going. So we're approaching the target very slowly. Let me right-click on the damn port. Oh, we don't have an exposed port. That might be part of it. That's true. That actually is probably why I can't right-click on it. Okay, so here's what I want to do with the tugboat. Let's go and bring us to a stop. Let me turn off the RCS and just bring us over here. We're just going to transfer a little fuel into the satellite. I forgot that we don't have an exposed port anymore. So I'm going to do my best to try to bring us to mostly a complete stop. Good enough. And if I click and click this Oscar tank in, I mean, doesn't take much to fill this up. And we don't necessarily need to completely fill it up. Here, stop. Okay. Let's detach. Okay, which ship am I flying now? This one over here? Let's move you slightly out of the way. So I'm going to turn on the RCS. Oops, wrong buttons. I'm rotating instead of moving out of the way. All right, you're good. So now you... Aha! Can set a target. Wonderful. So now I will just face. So what I want to do is get the orange little flight thing to be lined up with the pink bit. So now we're facing that docking port. And if I cycle over to this vessel, I can set this docking port. Control from here. Maybe it happened automatically? I don't know. I don't know why I can't right-click that docking port. Hopefully everything will be okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give ourselves a little boost of engine. Do I have to start the engine? Oh yeah, because I turned it off. Activate engine. Okay, that way, now we're floating towards this very slowly. Toggle on RCS, which we don't have a huge amount of RCS on this, so this might be slightly awkward. But, and if I remember to use the right buttons, what we're trying to do is, oh my god, we're moving so slow that it's kind of awkward to do, but that's okay. Keep the prograde marker onto the pink. If our orange indicator is lined up with the pink, it means we're facing the right way, and if our prograde marker is lined up with the pink, it means we're moving the right way, so we should be moving towards each other and doing that. The handy thing about the smartass is it doesn't turn off your prograde and retrograde when you're within 1 meter per second or whatever the breakpoint is. Because I would like to keep this locked on, but it disables itself if you're moving too slow. I don't know why. It's really annoying. I know this can be really tense. We're getting there. Basically, we can just float to it right now. I'm tempted to go a little faster, but you know, that probably leads to disasters. Okay, a little faster. Don't tell anyone. See, as an advantage, if you go above 1 meter per second, then you can lock yourself prograde and make sure everything's facing correctly. I don't know why it disables below 1. I mean, admittedly, when you get to 0, there's no such thing as prograde and retrograde. Are we actually shining on the Earth with our lights? There's our safety lights are really bright. I don't think that's any sort of aurora borealis. Set as target. Yeah, there we go. Properly targeting the docking port. And we need to slow down slightly. And nope, down to line up better. There we go. Excellent. Because we're trying to get everything lined up. Oh my god, can we like lower the power on the RCS so it doesn't jump as much? We need all these symbols lined up, and that's basically what's happening here. Everything is lined up. It's gorgeous. We could do the interstellar thing where we start rotating just to look super sexy. Okay, the pink marker is leaving a little bit, but we're so close the magnetic clamps should work. All right, we did it. Oh, my Kerbals are dancing. They're super happy. So, our goal now, we'll turn on the SAS, is we want to transfer all the tech into the mobile processing lab. Which I don't think there's an automatic button for that. How do we quickly transfer people? Transfer crew. No crew on part, right, but because we do have a scientist. Actually, just might be an engineer. Right, to make sure nothing breaks down. So we have literally no scientists in here. If I click on this thing, container, transfer data. Yeah, I know where the tugboat is, but it's fine. It's just over there. It's going to be okay. I mean, I guess I could quickly plug it in on the other side, so we don't have to worry about it. And you know what? We'll tell you what. Let's do that. We'll resolve the tugboat thing. Just to make the button clicking a little easier, we'll turn smartass on again. We'll, we gotta set a target, which, again, I think I have to set from the map mode first. No, not the tug. I want the giraffe. There it is. No, giraffe. What? Why are you selecting the T? Are we so close together I can't set the target? Oh yeah, caps lock if you're finding controllers. Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to eyeball the approach. Wait, what? I think when we get close enough, I'll still be able to target or click on the hatch. I know, I gotta be able to set a target. Oh, there it is. Set as target. Okay, I just had to click enough times, and eventually the game knew what I wanted to do. Whoo! Target map mode, yeah. So we're basically not moving relative to one another, so we're basically parked in a very similar orbit. But yeah, all I'm going to do is turn retrograde, or sorry, prograde. Is it just me, or is this turning backwards from what... Oh, no, because it's... Yeah, this is not facing towards. This is just relative speed towards. That's okay. I guess that's what I was describing wrong as before, now that I think about it. Alright, burn towards the target. There's our prograde marker. What's our distance? And our speed? Yeah, that's pretty much okay. And now relative velocity negative. And again, I'll turn this off and go to just stability assist, and what I'm going to do is push the retrograde marker onto the pink thing. There we go, so that we're still going towards it while lowering our relative movement. Double click? Can I double click from this mode to set a target? Is that it? Because I know double click clears a target. Oh! Double click sets a target! Oh, thank you! Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Quick save because I'm about to do some time warp. Don't do this at home. Oh, just in time for the computer to stutter. That's good. The time warp's not actually doing anything, which is probably for the best, to be honest. There he goes. Time warp, and whoa to time warp. And kill relative velocity. Excellent. We're going to switch over to here. So for this ship, again, we'll double click, set a target. Nice. And so I would like you to just face the target. You know, just set the pink marker. These button clicks just save you like a lot of like WSD spamming, which is really handy. Can I click on the hatch? No, I'm a little too far from that, but that's okay. You've got a target. I want you to face the target. Then just go to regular SAS mode. So slight burn, 1 meter per second towards. We're approaching slightly. Still would like to control from here. I think that's already there. Do I have the right side? Yeah, there's a hatch facing us. Oh, still can't click it from here. Whatever. So you can keep facing the target. RCS on. 1.3 meters per second approach is still fine. There it is. Set as target. Just really hard to get the click off properly. We need to Align ourselves a little bit better. Slow ourselves down a scooch. I mean, I think you can come in, you know, fairly hot. But I like to do it at less than 1 meter per second. All right, now we're all docked up. So the tug is ready to, you know, to maybe do some extra work for us later on. It does have less fuel, but it still has tons of juice. It's super fuel efficient. That's good. And really at this point, we can take the fuel, no, the fuel from the tug, or sorry, from the probe. Just get rid of all the fuel from the probe. We don't need that. And really, it doesn't need the fuel from the RCS either. Just pump all of it out. I'm going to leave a scooch in. Oh, it's completely full. There you go. Just so that we can maneuver this little thing away at some point. So, I don't know if, like, I want to click on every experiment to transfer it. So if I were to transfer, does can occur, this is our engineer. Can I now right-click on this and just say, transfer all the science to me? No, there's no such button, is there? There's just transmit. Oh, select the part to transfer the data to. No, that's not working either. Because you're already stored in this module. It didn't let me transfer it to this. Yeah, probably just DVA is the simplest way. You're right. And also, I do agree that making sure to just explicitly shut down all the engines is also a great idea. Provide some misclicks. So we'll just EVA with you. Let go. RCS. Whee! So next week, our mission will be to bring 2 scientists and quite a bit more hab space up here. But we do have a couple of scientists that are fairly leveled at this point. So we're going to take 56 experiments. Grab. We'll just board here, because that should load it into here. But maybe I'll make it explicit. Store experiments into this. There you go, board. So if we check over here... Oh, right, that's not the same. No, it's still good. Because what it means, now we can trash this thing. It contains no experiments. So this contains experiments, but that's not the same as having loaded the data. Because at some point what we need to do is review the data and then hit that button, I think, to store it in the lab. But I suspect that doesn't work until we have scientists on board. Or because it's not on, or some shit. But the idea, if you've never used this module before, each one of these experiments is worth a certain amount of data size. By loading it into the lab, what happens is your scientists will work the data and turn it into considerably more science than it was in the first place. So this, you know, is it like 4 times or something like that? It's some crazy amount. And okay, yeah, so you need scientists to be able to transfer it. So we may as well go and just put our current Kerbals back in the little command pod over here. They don't even need to be here. They would like to return home. So we need 2 things. One, I want to expand the science base to have more hab space. But really what we need next is we need the shuttle. And here, let's actually do a hard save here. Because unless I am wrong, and I'm never wrong, we don't need the little Viger probe over here anymore. So I could undock this science module. This bad boy over here. It is empty, right? 0 experiments. This thing has no value whatsoever for us. It doesn't have any fuel. Like if I turn the engine back on, like there's no fuel in here, but that's okay. But what it does have is RCS. So what I like to do is something like orbital, retrograde. I don't know if we can get to a decaying orbit with just RCS. My suspicion is no. But if we go ahead and turn on our RCS and just burn, well, forward right now, what we're doing is burning orbital retrograde. Yeah, no. Oh, no, it still goes. It's just when my mouse is over the interface, it stops doing that. Oh, we're out of monopropellant. Oh, we're so close. We were so close to put it in decaying orbit. All we're going to do is blow this thing up. We're just going to blow it up. All of our Kerbal parts come with self-destruct systems, so we can just blow it up from the Science Center. So that's going to be the idea. But yeah, another module, one thing that'll be nice with it too is we'll probably, you know, have a bunch more connectors on it, and that'll include some of the docking port juniors, because it'll make a slightly sexier one of those. But what we'll want to do is we'll want to repeat this mission, go to different places on the moon, go to Minmus, do all that, maybe end up with a ship that's not going to be quite as tall and bouncy. But we'll do what we can. You change the 2 Kerbals, the pilot and the engineer with 2 scientists, change them again and again for life support. How much science do we not store and send home? Basically all the science is stored up here. There was one radio wave scan that we took basically as we were coming in that we did return home for like 10 points or something, but that's about it. So we got that. At some point we'll just transmit, like we'll transfer everything into this science pod, start researching, and then once it's loaded on a science pod, I think you can then still transmit the science home once it's been loaded in here for research. So we get to like just again like quadruple dip into our science. It's really good. So that's that. Tugboat did its job, you guys. So we're gonna wrap up the stream here. Next live stream should be on Wednesday, where we continue some Age of Wonders 3, which is actually getting into the end stage for sure. Very curious to see how that'll go. Thanks everyone who came out today. This is a lot of fun, and I'll try to get the missing videos up right away. There will be a Stellaris video going live immediately after the stream is done. It's already uploaded to YouTube. I just have to hit the go button, so I'm going to do that now. Thanks for coming out, everyone. Thanks for everyone who followed and subscribed. Thanks to people who contributed to the Whiskey and Chocolate Fund. Sorry I didn't call out much of the subs. We got Deadmate, Master Moderator out there, 51 months. Thank you so much. Praetorian Soul at 15. Mad Monk at 2 months. Wolfhound Lewis, hey! Wolfhound Lewis, you were a dwarf on Saturday for 22 months. We got Starkaren Hayron at 3 months. I don't know how to say your name. Got Ice at 30, Henzu at 25, Eden Stargazer at 21. We got Chromatus at 3 months. Racel at 2, Courageous at 7. That's a funny way to say courageous. Dragon Child at 4 months. You never fixed the wind turbines. What wind turbines? Oh shit, I don't know. It's not in this game. Wouldn't be in Dwarf Fortress. I don't know, I'm panicking. We got Spotted Cat Shark at 15 months and Hemikar for a full year. Hey! Yelver's Ton of Fun at 8 months as well. JK Harris, another 1 year resub. Thank you very much. Lasers at 55. Garfy at 32. Pie Skipper at 16. Caves at 2 months as well. Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate it. Shout out again to Captain Hermit for a very, very generous contribution to the Whiskey and Chocolate Fund. I'm going to make a withdrawal of that while we go and clean house, because A Kiss for Luck's coming home. It's Surviving Mars. Oh, thank you. Okay. All right, see you, folks. Bye-bye.